Hey guys, I gotta start over again. Take 16. Hey everybody, Big Bear here, coming at you from Lexington, Kentucky, not far from my birthplace. I was born between here and Louisville, not too far away. All right, today we're going to talk about the China study, the most comprehensive study of nutrition ever conducted. All right, we're going to jump to part two. All right, because why? Because what we've determined is that we have certain things that we're born with, genetics, physical ailments, we might have accidents and other things. And these things are beyond our control. And we're not talking about that today. But in regards to the things we can control, we're largely under the siege of diseases of affluence. Here we go. Here in America, we are affluent, and we die certain deaths because of it. We eat like feasting kings and queens every day of the week, and it kills us. You probably know people who suffer from heart disease, cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's, obesity, or diabetes. There's a good chance that you yourself suffer from one of these problems, or that one of these diseases runs in your family. As we have seen, these diseases are relatively unknown in traditional cultures that subsist mostly on whole plant foods, as in rural China. But these ailments arrive when a traditional culture starts accumulating wealth and starts eating more and more meat, dairy, and refined plant products like crackers, cookies, and soda. In public lectures, I start my presentation by telling the audience my personal story, just as I have done in this book. Invariably, I get a question at the end of the lecture from someone who wants to know more about diet and a specific disease of affluence. Chances are that you yourself also have a question about a specific disease. Chances are, too, that this specific disease is a disease of affluence, because that's what we die of here in America. You might be surprised to know that the disease that interests you has much in common with other diseases of affluence, especially when it comes to nutrition. Nutrition is what? Nutrition is the N in New Start. Nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, air, rest, and trust in God. You might be surprised to know that the disease that interests you has much in common with other diseases of affluence, especially when it comes to nutrition. There is no such thing as a special diet for cancer and a different, equally special diet for heart disease. So that's the conclusion here of the China study. When they studied all these different people, what they found out was that aside from, getting in an accident, what we're killing ourselves with is our lifestyle. And so when it comes to nutrition, then you don't go out and diet specifically just because you have cancer. You don't go out and diet specifically because you have heart disease or any of these other diseases of affluence. You simply adopt a proper whole food, plant-based diet, and you provide the proper environment for your body, and it balances out and corrects itself. Okay? So one more time, there is no such thing as a special diet for cancer and a different, equally special diet for heart disease. The evidence now amassed from researchers around the world shows that the same diet that is good for prevention of cancer is also good for the prevention of heart disease. But wait, there's more. Because it's also good for the prevention of obesity, diabetes, cataracts, macular degeneration, Alzheimer's, cognitive dysfunction, multiple sclerosis, osteoporosis, and other diseases. What other diseases? How about autoimmune diseases like Crohn's disease, Hashimoto's, lupus, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, ulcerative colitis, IBS, Graves' disease, type 2, did I say type 2 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, Anything that's caused by inflammation, overgrowth of your critters, imbalances in the system due to nutritional deficiencies or imbalances otherwise. Then the proof's in the pudding, but by applying this has been out. They've applied this. The New Start program applies this. People correct their issues, such as autoimmune issues, heart disease. All these things are not only prevented, but a lot of them correct themselves. Furthermore, this diet can only benefit everyone, regardless of his or her genes or personal dispositions. That's what they're saying. It's not just for people with heart disease or this or cataracts, blah, 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 blah. It helps everybody. And everyone who adopts this lifestyle benefits. It's just that simple. All of these diseases and others spring forth from the same influence: an unhealthy, largely toxic diet and lifestyle that has an excess of sickness-promoting factors and a deficiency of health-promoting factors. And this is temperance. That's the T in New Start. It's the Goldilocks principle I talk about. Enough of the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. Okay. And of course, in other words, what we mean is the Western diet, and that's SAD, the Standard American Diet. It's the Western diet, it's SAD, S-A-D, Standard American Diet is sad. If you eat fast food, all the prepackaged, prepared, frozen foods. Conversely, there is one diet to counteract all of these diseases: a whole foods, plant-based diet, period, over and out. There's no evidence that can counteract this. There's nothing out there. We have not produced any evidence contrary to what they've said right here in all the time that this has been published. And then for his book, he says, the following chapters are organized by disease or disease grouping. Each chapter contains evidence showing how food relates to each disease. As you go through each chapter, you will begin to see the breadth and depth of the astonishing scientific argument favoring a whole foods, plant-based diet. For me, the consistency of evidence regarding such a disparate group of diseases has been the most convincing aspect of this argument. It fixes everything. When a whole foods, plant-based diet is demonstrably beneficial for such a wide variety of diseases, is it possible that humans were meant to consume any other diet? I say no, and I think you'll agree. America and most other Western nations have gotten it wrong when it comes to diet and health, and we have paid a grave price. Pun intended. We are sick, overweight, and confused. As I have moved on from the laboratory studies and the China study and encountered the information discussed in Part 2, I have become overwhelmed. I have come to realize that some of our most revered conventions are wrong, and real health has been grossly obscured, is the term he uses. Obscured, hidden. Most unfortunately, the unsuspecting public has paid the ultimate price. In large measure, this book is my effort to right these wrongs. As you will come to see in the following chapters, from heart disease to cancer and from obesity to blindness, there is a better path to optimal health. And I'm saying that nutrition is one of these paths. It is one of the doctors that you can use to heal yourself. Physician, heal thyself. You can become your own doctor through following your own biofeedback. New Start starts within: nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, air, rest, and trust in God. These are the 8 paths. These are the 8 spokes of the wheel. And so as you go through your days If these spokes are down, your wheel is like it's out of air and it doesn't run right. When you learn to expand all of them and follow the 8 paths of health, then you will see change. You can actually follow one of them and see significant change if you've been deficient, and most of us are. If you want to see real change in your life, then you just got to admit it's self-inflicted. And ultimately, then what that means is that you're committing slow motion suicide. Wait, they put people in asylums for committing suicide, right? Are you crazy? Or have you just been hoodwinked? Has it been obscured from you? Maybe it's time to open your eyes. The China study can help you. Stick with me, because up next, we're going to go through the solution. Because, all right, Barry, what do I do now? What do I do now? Follow me? Let's go.